Welcome to Imperfect in an Uncertain World, resources to living with authenticity and purpose. Today I want to talk about, or just actually begin by posing a question. Do you ever think that your actions don't matter? You might be saying to yourself, why vote? Why speak up? My voice really doesn't matter. How would your view shift if you knew that it only took 3.5% of the population actively nonviolently resisting for change to happen? Now, that's what Erica Chenoweth, a Harvard political scientist, actually found whenever she studied. She found that nonviolent resistance, when a group as small as 3.5% did it, there was a 53% chance that change would happen, as opposed to something maybe like 42% whenever there was violent clashes. So if you think about it, that's only 35 people out of 1,000 people that you have to rally. So 3.5%, you can make a difference no matter how small your effort is. I think that maybe Gandhi was onto something when he said, "We're all drops in a limitless sea of mercy." If 3.5% of those drops would get together, respond nonviolently, would live from a compassionate heart, we could change the world bit by bit, because change doesn't happen out there. Change begins internally with each of us. It's when we commit to living from a compassionate heart, and that's about self-compassion and compassion directed towards others. You know, it's a way of choosing. It's a choice. We choose to respond nonviolently instead of reacting from fear. In other words, we commit to living ahimsa. And ahimsa is to be nonviolent in our thoughts, our words, and our actions. Now, I think that you would agree with me that that's a really tall order. But Gandhi again reminds us that we may never be strong enough to be entirely nonviolent in our thoughts, words, and deeds. But we must keep nonviolence as our goal and make steady progress towards it. And that's the big thing. When you think you can't make a difference, when you wake up and all during the course of the day everything goes wrong, ask yourself, how did I make a difference in the day? Or you know what, sometimes we have to dust ourselves off, pick ourselves up, and go on and say tomorrow will be a better day. Because that's what Gandhi was saying, is that we're not going to get it 100% perfect. We're all imperfect. But the goal is to continue on that path, to learn from the mistakes we make, to learn when we have outbursts of violence, and then to move forward. Because each of us really is a work in progress. Each of us is working to be a part of that 3.5% whenever and wherever you can. Because it's important to realize that in this world, we spend a lot of time negotiating the choppy waters of uncertainty. And maybe we even feel really lost. But think about it. If you can find 3-4 people out of 100 to join forces with, you're going to feel a little less lost. If you can find 35 people to be with, you're going to be a whole lot less lost, and you're going to be encouraged to be the best that you really can be. It's about not giving up. It's about stopping whenever we're feeling down, finding balance through a mindfulness practice, naming our triggers that really have the potential to really fuel our violent reactions, and then we're grounding ourselves in our commitment to be nonviolent. And then we re-engage the world. So sometimes we need to take time for ourselves. We need to back out and to do things that are good for us, to practice self-compassion, to allow that peace to flow through us so that when we re-engage the world, that we can be peaceful presence, that we can bring about change through nonviolence. We're asked to ground into our nonviolent heart. We're asked to embrace our humility. So we have to let go of it's my way or the highway. We have to let go of that we believe, truly believe that our way is the best way or the only way. That attitude's got to go. Instead, we open to the world. We are very humble and we're saying, show me what you've got, and I'm going to show you, and what can we create together? And when we're open to the world, that makes us vulnerable. With humility and vulnerability, that's when real change can happen. Our open hearts shed seeds of compassionate understanding, and in that way we respond with peace. So think about that. If we seek first to understand and then to be understood, that's a radical game changer. I always tell people, when you understand, you don't necessarily agree with the person. You're able to tell the person why you disagree with them. And you do it in a gentle, loving, non-judgmental, non-defensive way. So let's talk a little bit about how you cultivate a nonviolent, compassionate heart. Be honest about where you are. Sometimes if you're in a situation and you just can't be peaceful, it's okay to say that. There are times when I was in situations where I just couldn't forgive a person and I was really angry at them. And what I would say to myself was, I'm not in a position where I can forgive, but I really want to get there. So set your intent to be nonviolent, even if you know that you're acting in ways that are not nonviolent in this place. The other thing is to separate your needs from your wants. We all have basic needs, and then we have a lot of wants that we like to buy into. Some of those things are rather frivolous. So when we're cultivating our nonviolent, compassionate heart, we're very specific and very honest with ourselves, really about what our needs are. And when we're meeting our needs, maybe we're going to find that we're more at peace because we're not in a situation where we want more, more, more. The next thing to do is really to identify your agenda. We all have agendas, not necessarily a bad thing. But when we can give voice to what our agenda is, we're less likely to get tripped up by our agendas and more likely to be able to work with other people. So once you identify your agenda, really name how it might get in the way of a nonviolent response. That's the biggest step, the foundational to being able to respond nonviolently and with compassion. The next thing is to keep your eye on the ultimate goal. If your ultimate goal is nonviolence, how are you going to get there? And piece by piece, step by step, you're going to find that you're there. Sure, you're going to stumble, but if your eye is on the ultimate goal, celebrate the steps you take towards it and forgive yourself. Practice self-compassion for when you stumble. Commit to nonviolence, the nonviolent movement, as a way towards the goal. Commit to working with other people in achieving the goal. And finally, commit to changing your movement into a way of life. I really believe that within each of us is the power to change the world. This begins with an understanding and a commitment to change ourselves. It all starts with us. We're transforming into our best self. And so we don't wait until our transformation is complete. We don't say, gosh, I've got to be 10 steps down the road on my transformation before I get involved. No, we get involved step by step. We find ways to get involved with the nonviolent movement. We find a way to make a difference, to be part of that 3.5%. Because really part of our transformation is a willingness to work in community with people that are not exactly like us to bring about sustainable change. So we offer our evolving self to the 3.5% in ways that are humbling and vulnerable, because our end goal is that we're going to transform the world. So thank you for watching this video. Like it, share it with your friends. Let me know how you're doing with it. Let me know what your thoughts are about this. But most importantly, be gentle with yourself and know you do make a difference, because if 3.5% of the population can change the world, so can you. You can follow me on Twitter. I am at Fireserpent, FYRSERPENT, www.intentandaction.com. Would love to have you on my mailing list. Like this video, share it with your friends, follow me on YouTube. Have a great day.